Page 4, Hayride. This is a fun piece. The hand's going to move around a little now. Look out. 4/4 time. Starting with the right hand. Let's figure out the notes and the rhythms. Make sure we got that. At the beginning, your third finger's on E. That puts you in C position. Okay? And then you just figure out the notes. Make sure you can say the names of all these notes. It's important. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have a D and a G together. And then in the last measure of that page, it's a here. So forth. Let's jump over to page 5. At the bottom, the last line. Let's look at this. You have here, D and a G. Now they want both hands to go an octave higher. So you're simply going to play the same notes. You're just going to play them up here. I mean, a D is a D is a D. It doesn't matter where you play it. The music written, you play it here. But now they're telling you in the second measure, play it up here. And then the next measure, they want you to go 2 octaves higher. So you go up another octave. You don't go 2 octaves from here. You go 2 octaves from where it's written. So that would be up here, another octave. And then in the last measure, you're coming back down where it is. So you're moving around a little bit. Ugh. Left hand, you're starting out with a C and a G here. That puts you here in C position. And these notes may not be what you think they are, so be careful here, because here now you have a D and a G and an E. So they're moving around a little bit. So work out the left hand, make sure you can get all this stuff. And let's go again, let's go down to the bottom there on page 5. You're here for the first measure for the when the left hand plays. And the next measure you got to go up an octave here. And the next measure you go up another octave. And the last measure you come back down where it is. So work that out. Make sure you can play the hands separately. You got it all working? Well, you can try to put the hands together. Here at the beginning. Because you're playing different notes at different times. Well, yeah. Let's go to the second line, third measure over. You see here, rest. So both hands have a rest on beat 1 there. Okay. Let's go over to page 5 again at the bottom. The last line, you're here. So you're really playing the same notes in each hand. Then you got to go up an octave here. And then another octave. And then you back down here. Now, let's talk about moving the hands around. Because we're doing it. When we move our hands around on piano, we try to, if possible, get the hand where it needs to be before you need to play the notes. So you're moving it a little bit ahead of time, if you can. You can't always. Sometimes you have to move and play immediately. Here, we can move ahead of time. So instead of moving both hands like this together, that's hard to do. I suggest that while you're playing the left hand there in the first measure, go ahead and move the right hand up while you're doing that so it's in place. That way, then when you're playing the right hand, you can move the left hand up where it goes. And then while it's playing, move the right hand up again. And then while it's playing, move the left hand up. And while it's playing, bring the right hand back down. You got one beat rest, then to get the left hand back down because both hands play together. So the last line real slow is here. Rest. That's how I suggest you. That way you're moving one hand at a time. It's so much easier. We'll have to talk about these hand moves as we go through because they can get tricky. And you can't hesitate the beat any. The beat has to be steady. Just because you're moving around doesn't mean suddenly you can hesitate. Now when you're first learning a piece, you might hesitate in places. You might, like at the top of page 5. Well, I might go here to get that, but then when I get to here, I think, well, let's see, what is that? And I might hesitate before I go on. That's okay when you're first starting out. But you need to work on those spots to get rid of that hesitation so you can play that hesitations all the way through. Doesn't matter how fast you go here. You can go really, really slow, but get rid of the hesitations. Work on those spots. You can speed it up after you get to know it a little better. Then once you get the hands playing together, the dynamics, they're giving you a moderately loud at the beginning, and that's through the right hand. Again, can you play the right hand louder than the left? Now, then when you get down to the second line on the last two measures, now it's a loud. Forte, F forte is loud. It's louder than moderately loud. So you come up even more. And now, in this measure, it's both hands. Both hands have the melody. But when you get to the next measure, it's the right hand again. So the left hand is playing softer, and then for one measure, and then it's soft again. The idea is we want to play the melody louder than the other stuff, is all I'm getting at. When you get to top of page 5, it's loud here, and that's here, left hand, because it has the melody. It's the only one playing. Now the right hand is loud, because it has the melody. Well, it's the only hand playing. But now in the next line, it's moderately loud, so you come down a little bit. You're not quite so loud, and that's right hand. Left hand needs to be soft. So follow these dynamics all the way through. And the last line on page 5, it's both hands. You can play them the same. Moderately loud. Until you get to the last measure, it's loud. Right hand. The left hand is just sort of moderately loud. Or moderately soft. I forgot to talk about the slurs in the right hand. See these slurs? I didn't talk about it in the previous video either. All we're doing is lifting up between slurs. Lift up. We're just cutting the F a little bit short because we're lifting up, so we get a little silence like taking a breath. And then we start, because the beat's steady. The beat doesn't change any, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And do that in the right hand between each of these slurs. The left hand doesn't really have any slurs, so you can just play it as connected as you can. And when you get to top of page 5, there's no slurs there at all. Play it as though the first two measures has a slur. Connect this. And then you can lift up a little bit. Pretend there's an end of a slur there, and the next two measures are slurred also. And then lift up before you go on to the next line. So you can pretend, if you have a pencil, just draw in a slur over the first two measures and then the next two measures on the first line on page 5. Just give them slurs. So you go ahead and learn it. However fast, I don't care. I mean, this says moderately fast. Well, if you were going to sing it, how fast? Not real fast, just sort of fast. Moderately fast? However fast you go, the whole thing's got to go that speed. You can't hesitate anywhere, you can't slow down anywhere, it's got to, so you pick the speed that works for you, and you can speed it up gradually over time. The idea isn't to just, well, I'll play through it once and then I'm done and I'll go on. The idea is enjoy the piece and play it over and over and over. Take time with it. You can take a few days or a few weeks or whatever it takes to actually get to know the piece a little better. Now there's a repeat sign at the bottom of page 4, so we're going to repeat back to the beginning and play. That's why there's 2 sets of words on them. But there's no repeat sign on page 5. I'd like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics, just notes and rhythms, but we will do the repeat. So I'm going to give us 4 counts, so let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, go.